Hey there YouTube, this is SJM4306 back with another review video. This time it's a threefer by a company that I featured many times before, iPazzport. And they make these absolutely fantastic Bluetooth slash wireless with the dongle RF mouse and keyboard doohickey things. And these are, I love these. I actually legitimately use one of these like multiple times a week, honestly, and these are fantastic for giving presentations, by the way. I know that firsthand from firsthand experience. And they're also really good for setting up like headless things, like computer systems that you don't want to have permanently attached to a keyboard and a monitor. Just drag like one of those portable HDMI USB monitors over, you plug this guy in, and then you can use this to control the entire computer to set it up properly and whatnot. Anywho, yeah, they reached out again, and this time they said, we have 3 new products, and I was like, hell yes. So, we have 2 AirFly mouses. AirFly? AirFly. Why fly? Anywho, air mouses, effectively. And these are very similar to things I've taken a look at in the past that basically are like remotes for kind of your smart TV box Chromecast thingy. These are really good because one side will have a keyboard, the other side will just be like a standard remote looking thing with like directional pads and like very commonly used buttons. Take a look at those in a second. This guy is what I'm more interested in. It seems like they've pretty much found what works, and that basically is having the RF dongle and Bluetooth and IR learning so that you can program this to control. So you can have this control your entire home theater setup, sort of. You can have this programmed in order to like turn on the TV itself and your like Android TV box or home theater PC, and then you have the keyboard to like quickly enter text. Then you have the mouse for navigation. Certain things, just D-pads just don't work. So this is absolutely like the best of all worlds. Built-in lithium battery, backlit LEDs, so you can use this in the dark. So it's like this is actually really good for like using on like a projector-based system. I've done that several times. This has voice search, so it'll have a built-in microphone. So we can see here, it looks like it comes in maybe multiple colors: black, white, backlit, and WOLED. I have no idea what that means. No idea what version I got. Here it says open the magic, and we will in a sec. Yeah, you can use this with everything because it's just a standard keyboard and mouse sort of thing. Your device doesn't care if it's wireless or not, as long as the end that it interfaces with either accepts Bluetooth or USB. It says the most fantastic remote for gamer, unique design and most lovable model. Small but smart enough. Okay, and they have some more spiel there. Battery is over 300 milliamp hours. That's interesting. 82 keys. 18 IR buttons. That is awesome. A lot of times I run out of IR buttons, so the fact that it has so many is really cool. And yeah, so let's just pop this open real quick. And these are, before I really get into these are all really cheap. From last I saw, like all of their remotes are like well under 30 bucks. A lot of them, in fact, are like in the $20 range. And so they're a really good deal. They're a really good deal for what you're getting, effectively. And I just have one of these living in my backpack 24/7. I carry it with me everywhere to work. And so yeah, this is thank God they've moved on to USB Type-C. That was one of my only criticisms of like their early remotes, were all like still mini USB. So they fixed that, so that's fantastic. And we have the remote itself. We have the tiniest user manual. Jeez, the text is tiny. Yeah, I don't think I really need a manual. The remote itself, oh, interesting. So sometimes they model in kind of more curves into this. This is sort of much flatter. Interesting. So it probably slides into like backpack pockets and whatnot easier. There is some texture, like where you would expect a grip to be for like a game controller, but it's just molded into the plastic. This is all plastic, no soft touch rubber, thank God. So this will last pretty much forever. The the plastic's not going to turn all sticky and weird, which is fantastic. These are also really easy to open and possibly to repair. If like a button breaks, like they just use regular snap metal domes, which you can easily get. There's just 5 screws, it looks like, and maybe in the battery bank. Okay, so it has one of these kind of slightly annoying things that you have to maybe use a fingernail or a coin to open. And that's where the USB dongle lives, and it's one of these tiny ones. And, ooh, I see contact points. Anywho, before we get into that, the battery is just a standard BL5C, which is like a Nokia clone battery. These are everywhere, which is fantastic because eventually these die, they start bloating and swelling. And so the fact that I can pretty much, as long as I know, I'll be able to get these batteries, so I can keep this guy going for as long as possible. Yeah, we have one of those LEDs, I guess, where the backlight is in there. We have a USB port. So it has basically, this looks like a USB port. VBAT, DM, and DP, which are the positive data and minus data for USB and ground. Interesting. And we'll open this guy in a sec, but I really got to turn this on and see it working first before I possibly destructively open it. One thing interesting that this has that no other model I've seen has, it has shoulder buttons. That is interesting. Okay, that's cool. Don't know what they do right now, but there's that USB-C port. Here's the IR LED that you can program with different remotes. And there's an actual physical switch to actual on-off switch. So, and it's not labeled. Interesting. So it's off in the left position, on in the right. Okay, that's a little weird. BT is lit up, so it's in Bluetooth mode. If I click RF, it turns into RF mode. Before, on the other models, you had to hold the function key and press one of the other keys. This is much easier. This will be much easier to change. You just click a single button and you're good. We have TV mode, so that switches it into using the IR. And so yeah, I'm really liking this. We have a blinking button. Interesting. I guess that's like the connection status. One of these must be for charging. Yep, there you go. Has an A molded in there, and then a little lightning bolt looking thing, so that's charging. That looks like the mic hole. The D-pad feels pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't be playing any games on this, but I guess you could if you really wanted to. It has media control buttons. That's really cool. And those are undoubtedly the programmable ones, because when I click them, the TV symbol lights up. And it is probably, yep, you can see it's transmitting. So yeah, we have the mic button, the shoulder buttons, also light up the TV button, so those are IR programmable, that means. And yeah, we have the trackpad itself, which is not the smallest I've seen, but also not the largest, but it's definitely usable. When you get your thumb in the shot, yeah. It's recessed pretty deeply, actually, which is interesting. But yeah, it has like a textured sort of surface. It feels like an old school trackpad. And a lot of these will have like multi-touch, which is awesome. We'll test that out in a sec. And yeah, we have a full keyboard here. How do I turn on? There's a blue button here. How do I turn on like the backlight? So it's usually, yeah, I think it's a function and this key. Yep, whoa! I was expecting just a static color because all of them are just red, green, or blue. This looks like full RGB. They went the whole mile. Wow, that looks really nice. And if I click that, oh, that is cool. Kind of useless, but like it looks real flashy. And it's just animated. Do they just have a static one? Wow, that is too busy. And off. So, unfortunately, there is no just static mode. I would like if they had kept a static mode. Just maybe you can select the color. It looks like this isn't full RGB. Well, it is full RGB. This isn't like continuous. It looks like it's mixing, like color mixing with just on off. So 1 bit per channel sort of thing going on there. Yeah, this is kind of distracting having it flash. I mean, it looks real cool, but that one, yeah, that's a bit much. So I would probably just leave it, I guess, on this mode, is kind of, at least all the keys are lit at once. That is a bit much. Yeah, so far my only criticism is I like all the color modes, they look real cool, but just have a mode where you can select the color and it's static. They're just all lit, and maybe if you could adjust the brightness, that would be fantastic. But yeah, we'll use this though and see if that really, pisses me off while I'm trying to use it in the dark. But yeah, so far, mostly good things about this model. Compared to the previous models I've seen, this is mostly an improvement. It's just the RGB flashing is a bit much for me personally. Anywho, we have the two other mice, and these are pretty much going to be very similar, so I'm just going to open these up. I'm going to need two hands. Give me 1 sec. Ooh. So they had warned me about this in a good way. These are metal. They feel fantastic. They have a little bit of heft to them. It's probably machined aluminum or extruded. No, it's probably extruded aluminum, it feels like. And they feel really nice, especially since it's kind of warm out today. So it's actually very warm out. I'm going to have to keep these dongles for the correct one because they are different. They came with protective film on the IR little window and on the end there. And these are all USB-C. They finally updated their entire model line. So I'm very happy to see that. Just gonna peel off all these things. And these are both the X9 model, but they are slightly different. This one is clearly marketed more towards, I guess, like an Android TV. So you have like a dedicated YouTube, Netflix, Google Play, and apps button. So I do have an Android TV upstairs in my room, and we'll definitely be checking that all out. But other than that, I think this is kind of more generalized with just volume buttons. This one, interesting. It looks like they're tying volume up and down and like channel skip up and down to a single button. I have no idea how that works. These, they break it out to physical separate buttons. I prefer this so far. Other than that, it looks like you have like a mic button here. This one doesn't look like it has a mic, I guess. Maybe that's what that symbol's for. No idea. We have a mute button here. We don't have a mute button here. Both have a power button. This one's red and this one's just, white. We have air mouse functionality, so they both have gyroscopes built in effectively. We have a D-pad, which is just sort of, it looks like a click wheel. That would be awesome if that were an actual touch click wheel, but anywho, it's a tactile kind of silicone button. All the buttons are silicone. They feel really nice. There's tack switches underneath them. This has like a menu button. And this is already on. Okay. We have like a home/back button. Here we have home and back are separate. Interesting. If we flip them over, they look identical. They all have the same keys, so good. It's just a QWERTY keyboard, and we have function keys for different things. Like they combine the QWERTY row with the numbers, and you have symbols and whatnot. And yeah, for some reason they always include one on the enter key, Control-Alt-Delete. I guess if you get stuck and your computer crashes, so you don't have to get up and get an actual full-size keyboard. But yeah, keys feel absolutely fantastic. They're pretty large too, the keys on the back. Yeah, and they feel fantastic to click. So we'll see how that actually works, hooking this up to a PC of some sort. And yeah, USB-C, and we have the remote itself. I wonder if, because this one turned right on when I clicked the button, you can see the LED. I wonder if the battery's dead. I might have to give this a charge. I guess this is a good stopping point. What I'm going to do right now is give these all a good charge just in case, because I don't know how long they've been since they've gotten some charge in them. And we'll hook these up to different devices and test them out, and I will let you guys know my findings on them. Oh, one very quick thing. So the reason why these came with the dongles sort of in the wrapper in a separate compartment, there's nowhere to put the dongle with the remote itself. So that is very unfortunate. would have liked to see maybe if they had a little bit of room, you like click it into the bottom. There's like a hole. Doesn't even have to have any like metal or anything. Could just be a molding inside the plastic that this just friction fits into, just so that you don't lose the dongle. That's really my only criticism so far. They feel fantastic. We'll find out in a sec how they work though. Okay, so here we are. I have my Android TV box. That little flickery blue thing is the TV box, and it just has, you know, regular Android TV sort of thing going on there. I have all three remotes set up for this. So this guy is set up over IR, this guy is set up over Bluetooth, and this guy has its dongle plugged into the USB port on the TV box. So they were all simultaneously able to connect. Let me just turn this on. Over different connection methods. So just to let you guys see, okay, so we are on RF. Okay, took me a second. So, okay, yeah, you can see here, I can scroll through. And yeah, it's like pretty responsive. It's like instantaneous. And this is just over the RF dongle. And obviously, if I use a touchpad, it brings up a little mouse cursor. So there's that. I'm going to leave that connected. We have IR now, because I can tell because when I press a button, the red light appears. Otherwise, if it was connected over Bluetooth, the green light would appear, would light up on the remote. And you can see here, just as easily, I can scroll through. This remote in particular has separate volume up and volume down buttons, as well as the like program up and down. And when you're connected over IR, if I click the mouse button, it's one of these annoying, slow press and hold a direction button mice. So I'm just going to turn that off. Now, I had noted in the unboxing portion that I preferred having separate buttons. This does something very interesting for the volume and the channel select buttons. So this is connected over Bluetooth. And so obviously it works. I'm just navigating through. And yeah, this is like really responsive. But watch when I click the hold the volume button, it pulls up, and then when I lower the remote or raise it, it changes the volume. It's using the accelerometer in the remote. That is awesome. That is way better than I thought it would be. Obviously, you have to kind of be sitting when you're controlling this, but yeah, it actually works pretty well. You just raise or lower your hand, and it just follows. And if you have to reset, then you just let go of the button, and it stays where it's last at. That is really cool. If I click the mouse button on here, it's using the accelerometer and dead reckoning. So if you go off screen and you're too far over, you have to unclick the button, center your remote, and then click it again. And you can do that multiple times to sort of get it in the position that you want it. Now, obviously, this is open loop. It's not like a Wiimote where there's feedback on the sensor. So it drifts over time. It's not super accurate, but for like simple things, it actually works really well. So that's really cool having, and the fact that this will work with any computer like that, you could actually control, you know, a full-blown computer with this using the accelerometer if you wanted to. And we have dedicated buttons for YouTube, Netflix, whatever on this remote. On the other remote, they break out the volume and the channel buttons on that. Here, if I click it, it's an Android TV, so unsurprisingly, it'll open whatever app, as long as you have it like installed. And if I want to go home, I can obviously just press the home button. There we go. And we're back home. So I guess, I mean, I'm still connected. Technically, all three can control this simultaneously, more or less, which is actually pretty neat. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that, but you could. I guess we'll just end this video off by just searching one of my videos. And it's already searched. And let's just pull up a video. I don't want a survey, come on. There we go. There's the volume all the way up. And yeah, I can control this not even facing the TV, because this is obviously Bluetooth, and this is our set to RF. The remote for this, it sort of works by reflecting, so I'll just point it like at the wall behind it, and it works. But sometimes it'll miss commands from this remote because it's IR. This you can switch between using the dongle, IR, and the Bluetooth modes. They detail in the manual. It's not so making sense. You basically have to hold multiple buttons to switch modes and to program different modes. Like to set into pairing mode, you have to press and hold the back and the OK button. To program the IR, I think it's the power and the OK button. You hold that for like a couple seconds. And so yeah, it's a little bit confusing, honestly. But you only really have to set it once. I would honestly just use this over Bluetooth. That's perfectly fine. If I want to exit back, let's try the keyboard on the back actually. But we can go backspace. I can just start typing HELLO. Oh, help. Yeah, I mean obviously I'm typing with one hand, but yeah, the keyboard works just fine. I can use the arrow keys as well while I'm on this side, and I can just delete all the text and then just go back. I can bring up the mouse cursor if I wanted to and type that way, or I can exit out of that and then just use the D-pad to type. So 3 different ways to use this one remote. I would say of all 3 of these, honestly having this trackpad is really nice. This is going to be my favorite. This is going to live in my backpack, honestly. In terms of how useful this is. It's larger than the other remotes. Other remotes feel real nice. They're metal. The end caps, it looks like there is a bit of a gap. You can just about see they're not pressed in all the way. So QC might be kind of a bit of an issue. And I kind of do want to pop one of these open, but I have a feeling it... I tried lightly prying with my fingertips and these caps did not come off, so they're really pressed in there. So I have a feeling I might have to mar the metal in order to get them open, because these all have LiPos, so these all eventually you will need to replace the battery yourself. So that's sort of a thing, but this guy just has like a standard Nokia battery, and those will be available pretty much till the heat death of the universe. So I have to kind of give it to the larger one. This is sort of my style more than these remote ones, but I can definitely see some people with, Android TVs and smart TVs set up in like in their living rooms. They might not want to use this full-blown little keyboard looking thing. They might want to use just a slimline remote, and the fact that you can just flip it over and you get a full keyboard is just awesome. So I think honestly, in terms of like all the functionality that you're getting, these are pretty much as good as they're ever going to get. They have like all the communication, the wireless communication protocols that you could possibly want in a wireless remote. They're pretty much universal. Like I can pair and connect any of these to like pretty much any device that has a USB port or has an IR port or connects over Bluetooth. And that's pretty much like all the devices I own right now. Okay, quick addendum. I promised you guys I would open this. I almost forgot. Sorry about that. So these are really easy to open. Just 5 screws, and like the power switch and the little shoulder button things are just separate pieces. They pop right out. The right angle tack switches. Power switch is this little guy. The IR LED is that guy, which I believe they're also using this IR LED as the receiver to sense. That's really cool. You can see, yeah, this little USB header pin thing. That's interesting. That's probably how they program the main processor. Actually, that's probably the main guy. I don't know what that chip is. I think it has a ST or FM. Huh. I have no idea what that is, but huh. So anywho, so the main chip is this guy, obviously, right next to the antenna. And if I could lock the focus, that'd be great. Yeah, there you go. Has its main crystal there. USB input, power regulation. Oh, we have 2 of these chips. If I flip it over, the touchpad is just PCB tracks. That's really cool. They've been doing this for quite a while. It's very cheap and efficient to do it that way. It requires just some board space, but you get all that for free because you're using the entire board anyway. We have metal tactile domes here, and we have a bunch of discrete RGB LEDs. These don't appear to be like the WS2812 style ones with the built-in controller. These must be very cheap to make, but also they're very good at what they do. You can see all the traces on the back for that touchpad. That's very interesting. And yeah, I mean, there's like very little to go wrong with these, and even if something does go wrong, these would be pretty easy to fix. Anything short of like catastrophic liquid failure, liquid damage failure, then you're pretty much golden. If it's just replacing the battery, I can get one of these real easily, real cheaply. And everything else, yeah, there's like not really much to go wrong here, as long as you keep this dry and charged and clean. Anywho, thought it was also interesting. There's a molding in the back to add supports to kind of the sides there, so that when you press the buttons, the PCB doesn't flex backwards into the hollow part of the shell. Yeah, pretty interesting look. I love tearing down iPazzport stuff. Very interesting, like cost optimized electronics. Once again, huge thanks to iPazzport for sending these guys in for review. I absolutely love these devices. If you do not have one and you do a lot of tech stuff, or even if you give like give presentations a lot and stuff, like these are actually really good presentation remotes, because even if you don't use any of the other buttons, you can flip through slides really easily. This will pair and connect to like any computer in the world. So that is really cool. That's a good use for them. And just having one in your backpack is really useful. It eventually will pay off for itself. And these aren't that expensive. Last I checked, they're like around the $20-ish mark. So definitely cool. The one improvement that I would like to see to this is just have like a static RGB mode. I noted that when I took this apart, it has like flashy color changing modes and whatnot, which is okay, but sometimes I just want, like, I can adjust the brightness and adjust the color and it stays on that brightness and color. That would be ideal, so you can save some battery life but still see this in the dark. I don't really need it to flash like this. It looks really cool, don't get me wrong, but if I'm trying to watch a movie, that is going to be very distracting. And all of these will kind of be, especially this, geez. But yeah, so most of the time I'd probably just leave the RGB off on this. But anywho, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.